women's baseball, it's about time. We're ready for it. Women have been playing baseball for hundreds of years.
Welcome to We Need to Talk Now, presented by AT&T. I'm Alicia J, and I am here with two amazing women that I can't wait to talk to about what they are starting. Justine Siegel and Alex Hugo are starting the Women's Professional Baseball League, the WPBL. It's set to launch in 2026. And thank you for sitting down with us right now to talk to us about this new and exciting league.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Happy to be here.
Well, Justine, let me just start with you. You're one of the co-founders of the league, and you have a really long resume in the world of sports. You're the first female coach of a professional men's baseball team and the first female coach employed by an MLB team. Man, that's a lot of experience. As somebody who's worked in sport myself, you have so many accolades when it comes to baseball. With all of your experience in the sport, what made you want to start a pro women's team, and why do you feel like now is the right time to do it?
Well, my co-founder, Keith Stein, he reached out to me and he said, hey, I'm going to start this league and you're the person to do it with me. And it didn't take me any time at all to say, yes, let's go for it. The time is now. Women's professional sports has never, been bigger in the sense of that we have more fans than ever. And women's baseball, it's about time. We're ready for it. Women have been playing baseball for hundreds of years. So it is our time. And there was no hesitancy in saying, yes, let's make the Women's Professional Baseball League happen.
Well, Alex, you're a member of the USA Women's National Baseball Team and now a league advisor for the WPBL. What does it mean to you to help develop a women's pro baseball league?
I mean, I was honored when they asked. I think, there's been such a high level of play in the international settings, and having played in that and just knowing the talent that's out there, I was super excited to kind of help figure out this road into finding those hundreds of players that have, so much talent and kind of bring them into this league and really show people what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, within 24 hours of announcing the league, over 400 people, players rather, they registered and they had interest, obviously, in playing the sport, with the number growing to 700 players. What is that number now? Because I don't know if those are like the latest stats, but what's the number now? And what do you think that says about the potential of this league?
I think for us, the next is that we've just opened our registration for our new tryouts that we announced today. Our tryouts are now going to be in August 22nd to the 25th with Nationals Park. So we're really excited to be able to work with the Nationals and have their support on women's pro baseball. So right now we have new numbers. We have just shared with the whole world through CBS that this is happening. And so we're expecting a whole new list of women who want to come out and play because the interest is really there. And it's not just women who are in their prime. Some of the women are just, they're 70 years old and they said, you know what, my dream is to play pro baseball. And, we want that passion as well, just to come and see what is happening in this historical moment. We want them to join us.
Yeah, definitely a historical moment. What would you say to the woman out there that just isn't sure that she could do this, right? Or that never had the opportunity to be able to do this? What would you say to that woman, that to get her to come out to try out for this pro league?
I mean, I would say, if anybody's out there feeling this way and hearing this, you shouldn't hesitate at the chance to do something you love, regardless of what your path has looked like, what's going on. I think you have trained and you have played and you have gone through your own journey in different ways. And now we're creating this stage in order for you to showcase that, but also be around other females that are talented baseball players, so I would say just go for it.
Go for it. And I would like to preface, we don't expect any 7-year-olds in our league, but we certainly want them to feel supported and seen because they lived through the history. They've lived through Title IX. They've seen that women love baseball. Over 40% of Major League Baseball fans are women, and now they have a league of their own. So it's very exciting. We want to share that love.
Well, yeah. And like you said, it's not necessarily maybe you're coming out to try out or do something of that nature, but you are seeing women who are doing the thing that you were once told you could not do, right?
Exactly.
That is really, really powerful. And Alex, I just wanted to ask you specifically. I know that you played softball in college. You were drafted to the National Pro Fast Pitch League. And what made you decide to switch? What made you decide to go for baseball rather than softball?
Yeah, I mean, I think my pro journey and my collegiate journey was awesome. My pro journey was awesome, but all good things come to an end. So I had just gotten married. I found out about USA Baseball. I was like, well, all right, let's give it a shot. So I kind of look at it almost as like my second act of me being able to continue my career. I feel like, again, and we talked about this morning, they're very different games. And so it's almost like it was a challenge to me to find the similarities enough to succeed in the other.
Well, what would your advice be? There's a girl out there who has always been told, and there's nothing wrong with softball. Let me make this clear. But there's a girl out there that has always been told that she could only play softball. What would your advice be to that girl who has aspirations to play baseball?
I mean, I would say, and as we're doing, and I know MLB is working on different things, but making it accessible for them to play, whatever sport that may be, specifically women's baseball, like they need access to play the sport that they love so that they don't run into situations where somebody's telling them they have to pick, because they are different. And I truly believe in that. That's my personal opinion.
And I've also founded the national nonprofit Baseball for All, for girls to play baseball. So all these girls who maybe they're the only girl in their league, they get to come together and meet other girls who love baseball. And, instead of being the girl on the team, they're just a ball player. So that we definitely have a support system for those girls who love to play, and we have opportunities for them to play. And it's only going to grow with the launch of the WPBL.
Well, speaking of opportunities, this one is for both of you as well. Obviously, the number of women in baseball is growing to an all-time high. I think the women in baseball, specifically that were coaches, I think it grew to 43. What does it mean to you to both have been such a part of the growth that has helped women push forward in baseball, like both people who are working in baseball, but also playing?
I would say, and this is my experience, this is my second year with the A's. And so having coached in baseball, going from the USA team, it's becoming such a norm that if you know what you're talking about and you know the game and you're willing to learn, there's a place for you in baseball, regardless of gender. And so many of my biggest supporters personally are guys that played in the MLB, guys that coach in the MLB. And they are loving to see what we're doing. And I think that's huge, because you need allies, whether that's male or female, and the growth. And there's so many different places for people, analysts, biomechanists, coaches, you name it. There's a place for people that love baseball.
And I love to hear this because my path was so difficult. And I was laughed at, and I was told it's not possible. And I was asked silly questions like, where will you change? And so, but I always knew that, as much as I love to coach baseball, I also knew I was paving a path for those behind me. And Alex is one of those people who are behind me in the best way. But the next generation, right? It's all about building a better future and not just thinking of yourself. But when we build a better future, a lot of that's right here. There's clearly a pathway now for women to be in professional baseball as coaches, as umpires, and running teams.
Well, you talked about your path being difficult, and I know you went through a lot to get to this moment, right? And to get to launch this amazing league that you're launching. What was the most difficult thing in your path, and how do you think it has prepared you for this moment to launch this league now?
For me, it's a real honor to provide opportunities for women to come and play professional baseball. It's very important to me. the thing that gets me up in the morning is the knowing that now 12-year-olds know that if they work hard, they can become a professional baseball player. So it's not just the women now, it's the idea that they can grow up and know this is a dream that can really happen. And I don't have to break through it as the only woman in Major League Baseball. Now I have a league of my own. And that to me is just like everything. And so whatever pain or difficulty that has in my own journey, as well as, just in a startup league, it's completely worth it. Not just for the women who are playing, but the girls who will be playing tomorrow.
I know that's right. The girls that will be playing tomorrow. Definitely, I cannot wait for this league to launch, just in the fact of I know that the hard work that has gone through to have this league come to fruition, to give women and girls a place to be that they haven't had for so long, right? And there are a number of leagues that have started up with this in mind, right? They partnered with their male counterparts to kind of come to fruition, most notably like the WNBA, the NBA. And just last month, I saw that the MLB officially partnered with Athletes Unlimited Softball League, saying that they explored the women's baseball space, but ultimately they decided that the pipeline from collegiate softball makes it easier for them to build a professional softball league versus baseball. Like, first off, I was just wondering, because I thought that was interesting, but I was just wondering, were there ever any discussions about joining forces with the men's league? To me, the synergy should be there, but that's from the outside looking in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say that I know all the details of all of that. I do know that, and I work very closely with MLB Develop, so knowing that how much they're putting into softball, I understand how they want to continue to explore the softball route and gain fans, for the MLB. The MLB Develops, they also do youth female baseball camps. So I do know that they are supportive, but I don't know if maybe, they saw it as softball seems more established in the pro setting as of right now. So in my hopes, and I think that, with our success moving forward, I think, we can revisit that, and it's going to take the right people in the right seats for that.
Yeah, for sure. Major League Baseball could be supporting women's softball and women's baseball. There's no limits to support. Mm-hmm. So we look forward to what the future brings.
Well, and maybe not just the MLB, but like, what would you say specifically to people that say it's easier, quote unquote, to build a pro softball league rather than build a baseball one? Like, what would your response to them be? Because, there's always going to be people in women's sports that are going to say something like that. So,
well, I mean, if you look at it, softball is a bigger pool in a sense of there's more opportunities collegiately for them to play. So you are taking those collegiate players that, so I think our pool is international and domestic, obviously, but I think there's a lot of talent to pull from, but it might look different than the softball side.
Many of the women who will be playing with us, they may have been the only woman playing at their high school, or they may be one of, the dozen women who are playing men's college baseball now. So these are women who've been playing baseball their whole lives, and, it's their dream to continue, and they're good enough, and they deserve a league of their own. And I think that there's just there's no need to pit softball and baseball. They're both wonderful sports. For us, baseball's my sport. It's America's pastime, and I just see nothing but potential on where we're going with this league.
Yeah, and Justine, specifically, I thought there was something when I was doing some research that was interesting. You said you really want to make sure that this league does not overlook mothers. What does that entail for you when it comes to like executing this league, and like what do you mean specifically about that sentiment?
Well, I was a single mother while I was pursuing coaching. I had my daughter in college, so my whole life my daughter was right next to me. And Alex is a mother of young children, so she would be perfect to answer the question for the now.
Yeah, I mean, you have to make it accessible for the players. It has to be a player forward situation. And so if they are mothers, if they're married, if they have, whatever they have going on, it needs to be structured to make it work for them because they are the league. So I think, learning from what other people do and just knowing how important it is, I want to continue these people's career, and I also want their kids to see, their moms play. So I think that that's super important, and I'm really glad that we have good people supporting that for us.
We're a very player-focused league, and we want to meet the needs of the women who play.
You talked about learning, and I know that there's been a lot of learning when it comes to launching a league like this. You're so close. 2026 is going to be the launch. And along your path, there are other women's leagues that have been thriving and growing. And what have you learned from those leagues? And how are you going to apply it to the league that you're launching in 2026?
First, it's a baseball league, right? So we're having tryouts, we're doing a draft, it's baseball. So that part has been done forever and ever and ever. And with women's leagues, we get to see, best practices in social media, ways to engage with fans, what were their different approaches with ticket sales. So there's a lot to learn from each other. We're all really in it together as a community of sports pro leagues. So I think we have to remember it's just baseball, but also we're women, and we're going to have this amazing league just like the others.
Yeah, I think fan experience is huge. Look at somebody like the Savannah Bananas and the MLB Home Run Derby X's that I do. It's more of like a 3-on-3 baseball situation. So ours is going to be more traditional. It will be sped up in a sense of we're going to be doing 7 innings, like more international play rules. So if we can put on a show, which is showcasing the talent, but making the fans feel involved, making them have a good time, they want to bring the kids, that's what's going to keep our fan base growing.
Well, the fan base is definitely growing day by day. It's strong as you go into this league. I can't wait to see the launch of everything and to see how it continues to grow. And honestly, how it just inspires a girl who never thought that she could play basketball to show her that she can do it, that she can do anything really. So I just want to thank you both for the work that you're doing. I know that it's been a long road, but on behalf of women and girls everywhere, thank you for all the hard work that you've put in, and cannot wait to see the launch of this professional baseball league for women that is happening in 2026. Can you connect us, with you on every level so that everybody watching here with this interview today can make sure that they're tapped in to watch the growth of your league?
Yeah, for sure. If you want to try out, you want to just learn more information, our website's womensprobaseballleague.com, and also you can look us up at socials. Our Instagram is already popping right now from our tryouts today.
I love it. Come on, let's go. Let's pop Instagram. Let's pop. But again, thank you so much for your time. And we literally can't wait for the Women's Professional Baseball League that is launching in 2026.
Thank you.
Thanks.